My 7-year mission to win over my girlfriend failed, and the system was about to erase me. On the day I left, I said one last thing to Chloe. You can still change your mind. This is your last chance. Her gaze swept darkly over the 10 women I deliberately hired, her face a mask of disdain. A few days later, she saw the news online about me vomiting blood and started searching for me frantically. But it was too late. I was done. In the 7th year of my mission with Chloe, she publicly announced her engagement to her first love, Leo, when she offered me $100 million as a breakup fee. The system informed me the mission had failed and I would be terminated in 10 days. I glanced at the check on the table and managed a weak smile. Can we try to salvage this? I asked. No, the system replied. Chloe, sitting across from me, thought I was still trying to cling to her. $100 million is more than enough for you to live comfortably for the rest of your life, she said impatiently. Stay out of my life with Leo from now on. Fine by me. I quickly snatched the check. I was sick of swallowing my pride, pretending to be weak and innocent of being the one who loved her to the bone, no matter how many times she hurt me. 10 days left. That was $10 million a day. Being a billionaire for 10 days didn't sound so bad. With that thought, I pulled out my phone. As I scrolled through my contacts, she seemed about to say something else. As long as you behave, Before she could finish, I had Sarah on the line. Sarah, I remember your agency is near here, right? I need you to find me 10 gorgeous, uniquely beautiful women to go out with me right now. Yes, right now. Immediately. Money is no object for the fee. I've already sent you the location. The key is they need to be here within 10 minutes. Chloe, we broke up. Hurry up. You've got 9.5 minutes left. Tell them to run. After hanging up with Sarah, I looked up at Chloe's contorted face. What were you saying? Her face was dark with rage. It took her a moment to choke out. Ethan, you don't have to do this just to spite me. I laughed. Chloe, I'm really not trying to spite you. I won't bother you and Leo anymore. You can rest assured. She was speechless again. After a pause, she said, You'd better remember what you said. I shrugged nonchalantly and waved at the 10 women who were now jogging towards us. Miss Chloe, good day, Miss Chloe. The women first greeted the scowling Chloe beside me, then shyly called out to me, Hi, Ethan. I was surrounded, dizzy from the chorus of greetings. Being encircled by 10 women was quite an experience. I started walking out, flanked by my new companions. At the doorway, I paused for a moment and looked back at Chloe, who looked like steam was about to pour from her ears. You can still change your mind, I said. This is your last chance. Her dark gaze swept over the 10 women, her expression full of contempt. Spend your money wisely, she said. At this rate, you'll burn through it in a few months. Don't come crying to me then. Don't worry, I smiled. I keep my word. A few months? I only had 10 days left. I turned away, feeling a strange, dull ache in my chest. Was it this body's own reaction? I looked down and saw one of the women extending her hand to me. Even though I was a minor celebrity, being Chloe's man meant I had to keep my distance from other women outside of work. Eventually, she stopped letting me act altogether, only allowing me on variety shows where I was forbidden from any physical contact with other women. But now I smiled and took her hand, one in my left hand, one in my right. I could feel Chloe's intense gaze boring into my back, fixed on my hands. Let's go, I said, squeezing their hands. First to the bank to cash this, then for some great food. In these few days, I was going to do everything I could for the past 7 years. After depositing the money, I took the 10 women to the best restaurant in San Francisco, booking the entire place. I ordered every dish I'd ever craved. After eating, we went sightseeing at all the places I'd never been allowed to visit. I had been in this world for 7 years, and there were many places I had grown to love. That night, I took all 10 of them to a nightclub. We drank and danced together. I was all about the wildlife. As I was dancing my heart out, maybe it was the alcohol, I thought I saw Chloe's beautiful face in the crowd. Just as I tried to get a better look, a paparazzo who had been following my extravagant spree all day pushed through the crowd. Ethan, aren't you afraid of making Chloe angry by doing this? Angry. I waved my hand dismissively. We've already broken up. The paparazzi exchanged glances. So, You're acting out because you were dumped? Acting out? Not all, I said. I'm just finally doing what I've always wanted to do. I'd almost forgotten about her until you brought her up. My mission had already failed. After 7 years, I still couldn't win her heart. There was no need to rub salt in the wound. Besides, I didn't even like her. She was just my target. She just happened to bring me gifts from every business trip, to stand up for me when others bullied me by declaring I was her man, to wipe my tears and give me medicine when I was drunk, to drop everything to take care of me when I was sick, and to kiss my forehead that one time I cried and asked if she loved me. She just kept me by her side, letting me have a smooth sailing career in Hollywood for 7 years. I had other worlds to conquer, other targets who had fallen for me, missions I had successfully completed. She meant nothing to me. What a buzzkill. They had ruined a perfectly good day. I looked back to where I thought I saw Chloe, but of course there was nothing there. I must have imagined it. The paparazzi were about to ask more questions, so I summoned my 10 companions to clear a path. Before leaving, I threw one last comment over my shoulder. If you want to take pictures and write stories. Fine, but could you please not ruin my mood with all your questions? With that, I drunkenly led the 10 women to a hotel. The front desk clerk asked how many rooms I needed. How many? Just one, of course. The presidential suite. The next morning, the first thing I did was rush to the bathroom to throw up. It was bad. I had drunk too much. As I was retching, a mouthful of blood suddenly came up. I quickly flushed the toilet. Then a delayed, sharp, twisting pain shot through my stomach. I sat on the floor, enduring the agony, and asked the system what was happening. The system told me this body was dying, and this was a normal symptom. Oh, right. Stomach cancer. I remembered now. I had left the medical report on the nightstand at home. The system had told me the disease could be cured if the mission was successful. I had told Chloe I was sick, but that day Leo happened to have a fever and was hospitalized. Chloe ignored me completely. Later, she even sneered at me with a dark face. A menace like, "You get sick? Ethan, stop with these tricks. I hope you really do die from it." Well, her wish was coming true. I was really going to die from it. It just hurt so much. It really, really hurt. I writhed on the floor in pain. As I was rolling around, I saw the giant screen outside the window endlessly looping the wedding announcement. Chloe, CEO of the Sterling Corporation, will hold the wedding of the century with Leo in 9 days. It even showed their engagement photos. Chloe was holding Leo's hand tightly, her face filled with a tenderness I had never seen. Suddenly, my heart ached. My stomach ached. Everything hurt. I was really dying. System, can I leave early? I can't take this anymore, I asked. The system said no. Isn't there a fruit in the system store called No More Pain or something? Let me redeem that. The system asked, are you sure? It costs all the points you've earned from several worlds. Do it. I was in so much pain. I had been injured in previous missions, but nothing had ever hurt this much. Confirmed. A red fruit materialized in my hand. I managed to stuff it into my mouth. It dissolved instantly, and the effect was immediate. The excruciating pain vanished. I lay on the floor panting as the system's voice announced, the No More Pain fruit is effective only in this world. During this period, the host will feel no pain regardless of injury, but physical phenomena like bleeding will still occur. So I could still break bones and vomit blood. I just wouldn't feel it. Got it. As I was lying there, the commotion I made woke up a few of the women. They came over to help me up. After getting ready, we started our day's itinerary. But just as we reached the hotel lobby, we ran straight into Chloe, who was with Leo. As if on cue, the front desk clerk's voice rang out clearly. Mr. Ethan, good morning. Would you like to extend your stay for the suite you and these ladies booked yesterday? Yes, extend it. Why not? This was the most expensive hotel in the city. I turned and had the front desk charge my account. I could feel Chloe's gaze stabbing into my back. It wasn't my fault. I was here first. She and Leo came later. I wasn't the one intruding on their life. The front desk quickly processed my request. I led my 10 companions past them without a second glance, not even looking at her. My schedule was packed. I took the 10 women to explore, eat, and shop. The entertainment headlines were dominated by 2 things, Chloe's wedding and me. Hashtag 1 man, 10 women. Hashtag Ethan's bold outing with 10 beauties. Hashtag Ethan Unleashed. They follow me everywhere, and I didn't care. The internet was full of gawkers with mixed reviews, mostly negative, but I didn't care about that either. I was leaving soon anyway. Besides hiring the 10 women, I also hired some bodyguards, mainly to keep people from interfering with my plans. I only had a few days left. I was a busy man. For days, I spent the daytime eating and shopping and the nights partying at bars. Sometimes I went back to the hotel. Sometimes I didn't. I was having a blast. That night, as I was about to hit a new bar, Leo blocked my path. "What do you want?" I asked directly. "Can we talk somewhere private?" he asked. "Just say it here. I'm in a hurry." I was a very busy man. "You." He looked angry, then seemed to compose himself before continuing. "I know you and Chloe were together, and I know you're not happy about the breakup, but you shouldn't be doing all this. It's causing her a lot of trouble." I had to laugh. "Where did you get the idea that I'm not happy?" I stood there looking at his face, which was about 70% similar to mine. Chloe had kept me by her side for 7 years because of this face. In all the time we knew each other, she always called out Leo in moments of passion, except for the night before he returned to the country. That night, she was drunk. It was the first time she had ever really looked at me. Her kiss was lingering, her breath warm. She nibbled my earlobe and whispered, "Ethan." At that moment, I almost believed she truly loved me. But in the end, the substitute couldn't replace the original. They were still getting married. I looked up at the billboard, still standing tall over the city, announcing their wedding for the next day. So, today was already the 9th day. Suddenly, I felt a pang of sadness. Good thing I couldn't feel pain anymore. A crowd of paparazzi was filming us, and Leo was standing right in front of me. I smiled and said, "Don't overthink it. Groom-to-be, you're getting married tomorrow. I wish you and Chloe a happy wedding." He frowned, about to say something, but I just waved my hand. "I mean it," I said. Then I left with my companions. We went out to party again, but I wasn't happy. It was all Leo's fault for ruining my mood. Oh well, more drinks. Drink enough, and I'll forget, and then I can be happy again. And with that thought, I did feel happier. I held my glass, giggling as I looked at the 10 women before me, and my smile widened. The table was covered in bottles. I wanted to do something spectacular. Mix all of these together. Let's make a depth charge. I pointed at the colorful array of liquors on the table. The women were happy to oblige, mixing the various colorful drinks into a single concoction. I picked up the final mixture, a pale purple liquid, and downed it in one go. "Look at me. I'm amazing," I declared. The women applauded. Feeling even more emboldened, I picked up another glass. But just as I was about to drink it, I felt a surge in my throat. I lurched forward, spitting out a large mouthful of blood. "Ethan, what's wrong?" "Ethan, are you vomiting blood?" The women around me panicked. I coughed, choking, and waved my hand. "It's nothing. It's nothing. Let's keep drinking. I'm telling you, I'm the best." I tried to take another drink, but before it reached my lips, another gush of blood came out, this time directly into the glass, turning the pale, purple liquid red. I couldn't control it anymore, and I started vomiting blood profusely. The fresh blood splattered all over the table. A gruesome mess. "Ethan, Ethan, don't scare us." The women were in a frenzy. Not far away, paparazzi were filming, and the bar staff rushed over. I, on the other hand, pulled out my phone to check the time. It was now midnight, the start of the 10th day. At the same time, a breaking news alert popped up on the entertainment sites. Hashtag Ethan vomits blood late at night. When I left with the women, we were mobbed. Thankfully, the bodyguards I hired were numerous enough to clear a path for us. They tried to follow our car, but after a few years in Hollywood, I knew how to shake them off. In the end, I managed to get away from everyone, sitting alone in my car in a deserted area on the outskirts of Los Angeles. My phone was vibrating nonstop with endless push notifications. Hashtag Ethan's drastic change after breakup. Hashtag Watson motivating blood on Chloe and Leo's wedding day. Hashtag Chloe and Leo's wedding. One after another, they seemed endless. Countless people who had my number were calling and texting me, and under many accounts, a flood of hateful comments. "Ethan, you're so malicious. Choosing their wedding day to pull a stunt like this. Why don't you just die? They were always meant to be together. As a substitute, you should know your place, don't you, Ethan? You bastard. I glanced over the messages and smiled helplessly. Even knowing this was all part of a scripted world, it still hurt to see. I picked up my phone, ignoring everything else, and answered the call that had just come in from Sarah. Ethan, you... Before Sarah could say anything, I cut in. Sarah, I've already sent the women home. Their pay for the last few days has been transferred to your company's account, as we agreed. Please check it. Is this the time to talk about that? Sarah was furious. What the hell is going on? Didn't we agree they were just supposed to help you have fun and get over that awful woman, Chloe, and start a new life? What's all this nonsense? I looked out the car window at the starry sky. It's nothing. I didn't do it on purpose. I hadn't known I would vomit blood then. The girls told me the blood looked pretty real, Sarah said, then suddenly fell silent. After a pause, she added, You're not really. Yeah, I'm dying, I said. Damn it, Sarah swore. Then why have you been messing around all this time? You have the money. Why aren't you getting treatment? Where are you now? I'll come get you. Suddenly, I felt sad and didn't want to talk to her anymore. I didn't want to be treated. I hung up the phone. When she called back, I didn't answer and put my phone on silent. I lit a cigarette and looked at the scenery, peacefully passing my final moments in this world. The moonlight was like water. In the wilderness, I saw a bizarrely shaped tree. It looked so interesting. I took a picture of it, and my first instinct was to send it to Chloe. But as soon as I opened our chat, a new message from her popped up. Ethan, are you done with your games yet? Is 100 million not enough? How much more do you want? Name a price. A strange feeling of suffocation washed over me, even though my car window was wide open. Forget it. I wouldn't send it to her. I had forgotten we had broken up. The habits from my mission still lingered. I closed her chat and posted the picture of the tree on my own social media page. Ethan, this tree looked so weird. Image. The moment I posted it, my account was flooded. A drama queen is always a drama queen. Still trying to act all serene and peaceful. You ruined someone's wedding. Ethan, you've really got some nerve, you bastard. I'll be at your grave next year on this day. Ugh, I shouldn't have posted anything. Sarah's messages kept popping up on my phone, but I ignored them all. Then she started commenting on my post. Ethan, answer your phone. Reply to me now. If you don't answer, I'm leaking the recording. And then a notification from my special attention list. A new message from Chloe. Don't think I don't know what you're up to. The groom will never be you. And another one. Ethan, you disgust me. Something wet fell onto my face. I touched my cheek. Was I crying? A delayed wave of sadness washed over me. For a moment, I could barely breathe. Tears just kept falling. I deleted all of Chloe's contact information and leaned back in my seat. The phone notifications kept coming, a cacophony of opinions. I stopped looking. I felt so awful. Didn't I eat the no more pain fruit? Why did it still hurt so much? I cried and accused the system of selling me a fake product. The system insisted I was not feeling any physical pain. It was lying. I took a knife from the glove compartment and slashed my arm. Blood splattered. It really didn't hurt. But why did I feel so miserable? I didn't believe it. I slashed a few more times, then pushed the blade against my main artery. Blood flew everywhere. I was stunned. For once, the system didn't mock me. It just offered a word of comfort. Don't be sad, host. You'll be leaving in 10 minutes. I'll pick a sweet romance for you in the next world. It had started raining outside. Whatever. Only 10 minutes left. The rain was coming down hard. I listened to the sound of it, feeling the strength drain from this body. I coughed up a few more mouthfuls of blood and my vision blurred. A feeling of being emptied out came over me. As the system's chimes sounded, I began to float upwards. My phone slipped to the side. The last thing I saw was the screen constantly flashing with breaking news alerts. Hashtag Agent Sarah leaks Ethan phone recording. Hashtag Ethan diagnosed with stomach cancer. Hashtag Ethan medical records exposed. The next moment, the screen flashed again and the phone began to vibrate wildly. Chloe's name was flashing on the screen over and over. Chloe called me many times, but I had already departed, meaning the Ethan of this world was dead, so he couldn't answer her calls. After several unanswered calls, messages from her started flooding the screen. Ethan, what new trick are you playing? Answer the phone, Ethan. This time, your stun has really made me angry. You want more? 10 billion, 100 billion? Answer the phone. I'll transfer it to you. The recording online is fake, right? Ethan, where are you? Explosive news stories were also breaking everywhere. Hashtag Ethan says he doesn't want treatment. Hashtag Ethan is dying. Sarah was frantically trying to reach me online, constantly asking me to message her back. The 10 women I had hired were found, and people were rounding them for information, but they hadn't said anything yet. Countless people had pieced together my movements over the past few days, the history of my illness, and the details of my first and last hospital visits. The internet was divided into two camps. One side claimed it was all a script, that I had deliberately staged everything to ruin Chloe and Leo's wedding. The other side argued that I wouldn't joke about something like this. The two sides were at war. Every platform was replaying the recording Sarah leaked, showing me deleting all traces of Chloe and unfollowing her. The scene of me vomiting blood in the bar and me smiling at Leo, saying, "I wish you and Chloe a happy wedding." I mean it. The rain was getting heavier. I floated above the city, looking down at the drenched metropolis, not sure what I was waiting for. After some time, the remote mountain road began to see signs of life. A car screeched to a halt, and Chloe got out, her face a tight mask. Ethan, her voice was filled with suppressed rage as she walked straight towards my car, ignoring the downpour. "Ethan, I'm warning you." Before she could finish, a scream came from behind her. "What is this blood? Oh my God, there's so much blood. It's flowed all the way here. We found this place based on the photo Ethan posted. It can't be. That car looks like Ethan's car. My God." Chloe froze, looked down, and saw the ground covered in blood. It had seeped from the car door, snaking along the ground, spread by the rain. She was standing in a pool of blood, leaving bloody footprints, a grim and terrifying sight in a rainy, desolate night. I floated not far from them, calmly watching her face turn pale, her fists trembling. She lifted her foot and then put it down again as if she didn't dare to move forward, her eyes fixed on my car door. One of the reporters who had followed her, a bolder one, stepped forward, steeled himself, and yanked open the driver's side door. The moment the door opened, the man let out a terrified shriek and stumbled back, falling hard onto the ground. I looked at him with pity. The inside of the car was indeed not a pretty sight. In the 10 minutes before I was supposed to depart, I had cut myself several times and then sliced my main artery. I didn't feel any pain, but the blood had sprayed everywhere. By the time they found me, the blood had already flowed outside. The car was a bloodbath inside and out. Oh my God, that's horrifying. Quick, call the police. The scene descended into chaos. Only Chloe stood frozen in place, the torrential rain soaking her completely. Her lips were pressed into a thin line. Her fists clenched so tight they shook. Her eyes were red, staring intently at my body. A few of the braver ones were taking pictures. The flash of a camera finally snapped Chloe out of her trance. "Get out!" she screamed at them. She pushed everyone away, shielding my body with her own, looking utterly crazed. "All of you, get out." The others wanted to say something, but given Chloe's status, they exchanged a look and retreated to a distance. Once everyone was gone, Chloe stared blankly at my body. "Ethan," she called my name. "Ethan." She reached out and shook me. "Ethan, get up." She kept shaking me, but my body just fell limply. She held my corpse tightly, as if trying to merge me into her own body. My blood and her tears soaked a large patch of her clothes. She let out a guttural scream that echoed across the mountain. I floated in midair, watching her, my feelings a complicated mess. I had pursued her for 7 years, and she had been cold to me so many times. What was she doing now? The rain was heavy. Sarah arrived with the police. She looked at my body in disbelief. "No." She rushed forward and shoved Chloe away. Sarah and I were good friends. In this world, my parents were long dead, and Sarah and I had known each other before either of us had made it. We had supported each other in the early days. Even after our careers took off and we had our own lives, we still kept in touch. That's why I called her directly to find me the 10 women. She hadn't asked many questions, just arranged it. She pushed Chloe away and looked at her with a sneer. Well, if it isn't the bride, shouldn't you be getting ready for your wedding? What are you doing here? Didn't you two break up? You said it yourself. Told him to be sensible and not to bother you. What? You want to hold Ethan now? Do you think you're worthy? Ethan is like this because of you. Stop putting on a show of deep affection and get the hell out of here. And remember this, Chloe. Every year, your wedding anniversary will be the anniversary of Ethan's death. You have a life on your conscience. Don't forget to light a stick of incense for him when you celebrate. Chloe tried to say something, but Sarah had already turned away to face the police. The police, of course, ignored their argument and began to examine my body. The situation was quite clear. Since I was a minor celebrity, my car, which I used frequently, was equipped with 24-hour front and rear dash cams that also recorded the interior. By reviewing the footage and conducting some other investigations, they could basically rule out homicide, but he was really hard on himself. One of the officers said, watching the dash cam footage, he was quick. No hesitation at all. I felt a little awkward hearing that. After all, I had taken a no more pain fruit and had been drinking quite a bit, so good thing I was a ghost now, so it was fine. But Sarah's eyes turned red. She glared at the silent Chloe and said sadly, he told me he didn't want to live anymore. Then Sarah looked at the blood everywhere and pouted. He lost so much blood. He must have been in so much pain. I wanted to tell her I was actually fine, but then I remembered she couldn't see me. Oh well. The police comforted Sarah and then asked both her and Chloe to cooperate with the follow-up procedures. Since homicide was mostly ruled out, the process went smoothly. Chloe remained silent, her head bowed. I couldn't see her expression. Only her fists clenched so tight the knuckles were white. As she and Sarah left the police station, they were swarmed by reporters. Miss Chloe, what are your thoughts on Ethan's death? Miss Chloe, will your wedding with Leo still proceed today? Miss Chloe, Ethan's medical records have been leaked online. Do you have anything to say about him ending his life in this manner? The questions came one after another, but she only responded with silence. The crowd pushed and shoved, and she stumbled, looking somewhat disheveled. She said nothing, but at the last moment, she looked at Sarah. Can you give him to me? Sarah just let out a cold laugh. You're not his anything. Why should I give him to you? You were the one who told him to leave, Sarah said, her eyes red, each word deliberate. Now he's done what you wanted. He won't bother you anymore. You should be happy, little bride. Stop the act. With your status in this city, you don't need to. With that, Sarah wiped her eyes and turned to leave, leaving Chloe trapped in the crowd. The rain had stopped, but more and more people were gathering. The internet had exploded. The media outlets that had discovered my body with Chloe were among them. Some were even live streaming. Although they quickly shut off their cameras and the streams were taken down, many people had been watching. The gruesome scene when the car door opened had already spread like wildfire. Everyone knew I was dead and that my death was horrific. I had cut myself many times and bled to death. On Chloe's wedding day, Ethan's death has been confirmed. According to reliable sources, it was a suicide and the scene was gruesome. Ethan's medical records have been leaked. Reporters consulted with medical experts who said he could have been saved or at least lived longer. According to reliable sources, Ethan received a $100 million breakup fee from Chloe, so lack of money for treatment was not an issue. Based on his phone call with Sarah, it's presumed he no longer wanted to live. Ethan donated all his remaining assets to a foundation that helps girls in impoverished rural areas before he died. The internet was a storm of opinions. At that moment, interviews with the 10 women I had hired spread rapidly. Ethan wasn't like what you're all saying. There was nothing inappropriate between us. Ethan and Sarah are good friends. Sarah told us he was heartbroken and asked us to find a way to cheer him up. Actually, Ethan did it on purpose. One of the women, let's call her Jenny, said with red eyes. The day Ethan called us over was the day Miss Chloe broke up with him. He didn't say it, but we all guessed he did it in front of her to see if she would ask him to stay. Another woman, let's call her Mia, nodded in agreement. That day when he took us away, he even said it was his last chance for Miss Chloe. And when he said we were all staying in one room, it was a huge suite. We didn't do anything. When he was drunk, He would secretly cry and call out Miss Chloe's name. He must have loved her so much. Everyone knew she had left him, but he deliberately acted that way, taking all the blame himself. We didn't know he was sick. He packed his schedule every day. We thought he was just trying to forget her, but now that we know he had stomach cancer and was still drinking heavily, he must have been in so much pain. Maybe he just didn't want to live anymore. Seeing all this, I felt a bit awkward. Did I really cry and call out Chloe's name when I was drunk? I had no memory of that. I was thankful over and over that I was a ghost now, or I would have died of embarrassment on the spot. It was ironic, really. When I was alive, countless people said I deserved to be dumped by Chloe. They called me a pathetic loser, said I didn't know my place, and accused me of deliberately trying to ruin her wedding. But after I died, suddenly everyone started to like me. People were even editing clips of my old videos, making countless people cry. Everyone was talking about how much I loved Chloe. Everyone was mourning me. The public opinion was surprisingly unified. It was laughable. I sat in Chloe's car, watching her disheveled state, wondering what she was thinking. Her assistant, Alex, had just rescued her from the crowd and was now driving. Alex sat in the passenger seat, looking at Chloe in the back. "Miss Chloe, where should we go now?" Every place is surrounded by reporters. The whole city is in an uproar. Alex paused, then hesitated. About Mr. Leo, he stopped, not daring to continue. The car just kept driving, circling the city. After the third loop, Chloe suddenly said, "Stop the car." The driver immediately pulled over. "Get out," she said. The driver and Alex exchanged a look, then both got out of the car as she had ordered. Chloe moved into the driver's seat and started the car. "Miss Chloe," Alex rushed over, anxious. "What are you doing?" "The wedding is canceled," Chloe said, then drove off. I hitched a ride, sitting in the passenger seat, watching the scenery fly by. The street lights cast shifting patterns of light and shadow. I watched her profile, unsure of what I was feeling. She ended up at my old apartment. 723521. That was the code. July 23rd was her birthday. I hadn't been back in days, and a layer of dust had settled on everything. She turned on the lights and just stood in the entryway, staring at the photo of us on the wall. "Ethan," she said suddenly, her voice echoing in the empty apartment. There was no reply. "Ethan," she called out again, as if by doing so, I would suddenly appear and say, "Just kidding, surprise." But there was nothing, only the sound of her own voice. She started rummaging through everything, pulling out drawers and turning over boxes. I don't know what she was looking for. She turned my place upside down. After searching for a long time, she found my old diagnosis report in the nightstand. She flipped through it roughly. "It's a lie, Ethan. You must be lying to me," she muttered as she flipped through the pages until she reached the final conclusion: mid-stage stomach cancer. Immediate hospitalization and treatment recommended. A tear fell, landing on the date at the bottom. It was the date I had gone to see her. Her hand trembled, and the next moment, she tore the report to shreds, as if by doing so, none of it would be real. She paced around the apartment like a madwoman. Finally, she took a bottle of alcohol from my fridge and started chugging it. Her phone buzzed. She took it out and saw a message from Alex. "Miss Chloe, I've obtained the dash cam footage from the police. I just sent it to your email. Please check it." A moment later, another notification, a new email. She opened it and played the video. It was the footage of my final moments. Alex had even added a text summary. "Mr. Ethan took a picture of the tree after calling Sarah. It seems he was about to send it to you, but then he saw the messages you sent him and posted it on his social media instead. After that, it seems Mr. Ethan received another message from you, and then he suddenly lost control and grabbed the knife." Chloe played the video over and over, watching her last few messages to me appear on the screen. Suddenly, she laughed. "Ethan, is this your revenge on me?" She laughed, tears streaming down her face. "Well, you succeeded. My feelings were complicated. To be honest, I never intended to use my death to get back at her. I just failed my mission." "System, what do you think she means by all this?" I asked. "I don't know," the system replied. "I'm just a program. I don't understand you humans and your ridiculously complicated emotions." Fair enough. I was supposed to last until the afternoon of the 10th day, but I had sped things up by cutting my artery, so I died early. Since the time wasn't up, I was still stuck here. The system said I was deliberately exploiting a bug, and that if I ever did something like this again without permission, I wouldn't be floating around. I'd be rotting with my corpse. I thought about that scene. Better not to think about it. I just watched Chloe, who was still chugging alcohol, and shook my head. She drank until she was wasted, then went to the bathroom to throw up, retching violently. As she was throwing up, her phone rang. It was Alex. "What is it?" she answered. "Miss Chloe, I know I shouldn't be bothering you right now, but—" Alex paused. "Sarah is at the crematorium now, preparing to have Mr. Ethan cremated. Do you want to come?" Chloe froze for a second, then said, "Arrest." After getting the address from Alex, she rushed over. When she arrived at the crematorium, it was just my turn to be put into the incinerator. Watching this, I felt a strange sense of irony. A funeral for the one who got away. This was literally it, wasn't it? Too bad I was never her husband. Wait. Chloe rushed over to stop them. Sarah turned around, and her face filled with anger when she saw her. "You have the nerve to show up," Sarah said angrily. "Get the hell out of here, Sarah. I want to see him one more time," Chloe said, her eyes red and reeking of alcohol. "See him?" Sarah laughed, a bitter, angry sound. "Don't tell me you haven't seen the dash cam footage. If it wasn't for you, he might not have been so determined. Chloe, don't think you can do whatever you want just because your family is rich and powerful. You want to see him? Ethan doesn't want anything to do with you. If he knew you were here while he was being cremated, he'd probably sit up and haunt you. Get out. Get out of here." As Sarah spoke, she grabbed a nearby stick and started hitting Chloe with it. Chloe didn't even try to dodge. She took several blows, the last one hitting her on the forehead. Sarah was furious, and she hit hard. Chloe's forehead was cut open, and blood trickled down her face. Alex arrived just then, and seeing the scene, rushed to intervene. "Sarah, what you're doing is illegal. You know that. Stop it." Miss Chloe is grieving too. She's grieving. Sarah laughed again. If she knew how to grieve, where was she before? She was about to marry someone else. I think she couldn't wait for Ethan to die. "It's not like that," Alex said, trying to block Sarah. "I don't know how to explain it, but ow." Sarah hit Alex. Alex cried out in pain, and Sarah took the opportunity to look at Chloe, who was staring intently at my body. "Why aren't you saying anything?" Sarah demanded. "Cat got your tongue? Or do you need someone else to speak for you?" Chloe's lips were pressed into a tight, straight line. She said nothing. "Say something," Sarah suddenly screamed, looking crazed. Tears streamed down her face. She looked so heartbroken. I felt so sad. I wanted to tell her not to be so sad, that I was actually okay and would be moving on to the next world soon. But she couldn't hear anything I said now. Chloe's lips trembled. After a long moment, she finally managed to say, "I'm sorry." "Sorry," Sarah cried, then laughed. "Sorry," she laughed and laughed, then stared at Chloe, her eyes filled with hate. "If you're really sorry, then fine. He got all those cuts on his body because of you. You do the same, and I'll forgive you." Chloe finally looked up. Blood was still streaming down her forehead, dripping on her already blood-stained clothes, spreading into a large patch. She said nothing, just stood there. Sarah was about to mock her, but in the next second, warm blood splattered out. "Miss Chloe," Alex rushed over, but it was too late. Chloe was fast. After making several cuts, just like me, she went straight for the main artery. "Doctor, call a doctor." Alex had already grabbed the knife from Chloe's hand and was pressing on her arm to stop the bleeding, calling for an ambulance. But Chloe just pushed him away. She looked at the stunned Sarah and said, "I want to see him one last time." Sarah's hand holding the stick was clenched so tight her knuckles were white. "I'll take that as a yes," Chloe said, then walked towards me step by step. She stood beside my body, not saying a word, just looking at me. The blood kept flowing, and her face grew paler and paler as the ambulance sirens wailed in the distance. Sarah asked her one last question. "Do you love him?" Chloe stared blankly at me, her lips white from blood loss. She said, "I don't know. I just feel so sad. It feels like my heart is broken." Sarah opened her mouth to say something, but in the end, no words came out. "Over here, doctor. Over here." Alex's voice came from a distance. Chloe looked at my body one last time. She leaned down and placed a kiss on my forehead. "I'm sorry," she said. Then, as she tried to stand up, she collapsed. Alex quickly brought the doctors over. In the ensuing chaos, the ambulance took her away, sirens blaring. Sarah stood there, lost in thought, and finally just shook her head. "So, are you still going to cremate him?" one of the staff members finally asked. Sarah snapped out her thoughts and nodded. "All right." Then the staff member began the procedure. I watched as my body was consumed by flames, turning to ash. I asked the system, "Do you think she loves me or not? Are you having a love-struck moment, host?" The system mocked. "Not really. I thought it through. Even if she does like me, she likes the me who was trying to win her over. And besides, she never actually said she liked me. I'm a little sad, but I'm okay," I said. "But if she does love me, does that mean my mission is complete?" "In your dreams," the system told me. "Love or not, it doesn't matter now. Host, I'm selecting your next world. When the time comes, we're leaving." The system even comforted me. "They're there, host. Don't be sad over a bad partner. The next world will be better." "Fine by me. Pick a sweet one," I instructed. "I don't think I can handle another one like this." "Okay, the system knows," it replied. "All right, preparing for world jump. Countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As the system's prompt sounded, I looked at the setting sun and whispered to Sarah goodbye. She seemed to sense something and looked in my direction. I gave a final wave. "I hope she has a good life in this."